to another video from Creativo Solutions. In this video, we're going to be taking you through some of the content from our live private lessons. We offer support in different areas of commerce and business, and we cover subjects like accountancy, maths, finance, investments, and others. Visit our website for more information and content and resources to help you. If you are on Instagram and Twitter, consider following our page and keep watching our YouTube channel for more support. Just a few tips here. Always consider creating custom support notes for yourself. Textbooks and material that the institution will provide you with are great, but you do need to summarize and condense that information so you can easily revise and prepare for exams. We can assist with summarizing content as we do create easy study notes for our students. Our emphasis is always on understanding, and that's a great tip for all students to remember, is understand what you're doing. So if the situation changes, you can still apply the correct understanding and you can approach questions. Practical application is key, so you need to practice with courses that are very practical, such as maths and accounting. With more practice, those subjects do get easier. And if you do need assistance, we can offer professional help because we have the experience and we would like to assist as much as possible. If you would like to contact us, DM us on Instagram, tweet us on Twitter, or leave a comment on our YouTube channel. If you want to send us an email, you can go to our website and visit our contact us page, or just send an email to info@creativosolutions.com. Consider subscribing to the channel, and we hope this video is going to help you. The video shown here was filmed live from our private lessons. So let's begin.
Okay, actually, let's start here. Okay, so preliminaries. Right, so in order to do linear programming, we need to discuss a few basics. That's the key before we actually look at this concept, linear programming. Okay, so you'll see it's actually quite an easy section because you're applying theory to a graph. That's what you're looking at. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to ask you is, what is an equation? What is an equation?
It's when you have two sides to the sum.
Okay, correct. So
for something.
Perfect. Okay, so important, what you've mentioned there is we've got two sides to everything, and the one side needs to equal the other side. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, equals right hand side. Right, so that's a normal equation where you've got x equal to something.
Yeah.
So if I've got a straight line graph, which you've covered before, how would you draw a straight line graph?
I haven't done that this year. Straight line graph.
You haven't, but that would have been one of the first few chapters. A part of algebra, eh? Because linear programming requires straight lines. You haven't done that one. But you've done it before, but we need to recap it maybe.
Yeah, I've done it like at school.
Yes, okay. Alright, that's interesting because it would have come up in one of these other chapters. Let's see, where would it come up in this textbook? Equations perhaps, but then you wouldn't have drawn the graphs.
Yeah, I've never drawn the graphs.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. Where would it come up then? Trig, definitely not. Okay, so if you said you haven't drawn that, then that's something that we need to revise. So this textbook hasn't actually got a chapter about it because it's probably assumed knowledge from previous grades because you would have covered it in maybe grade 10, I would assume. Okay, so let's recap that. So straight line, how do you find an equation for a straight line? What's the formula? Do you remember that?
No.
Not at all. Okay, so y equals mx plus c.
Yeah, I remember.
Okay, remember that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now you can also remember that m is representing the what? The slope.
Okay.
Do you agree? Or the gradients. Do you agree? Okay, so how do you work out m? Any idea? Do you still remember?
No.
Okay, it's a change in y over a change in x. Okay, because think about a slope. A slope on a graph would be if something's going to go up and something's going to go across, and then you've got a line that's sloping upwards. Okay, or it could be sloping downwards, where the next point is lower than the first point. Okay, so if you're looking at a straight line, it's just 2 points, 2 dots joined. Okay, that's all it is. That's a straight line. So if I have a point, I can put 1 point in the graph and another point in the graph, and if I use a ruler to connect the 2 dots, I've got a straight line.
Yeah.
And that straight line is going to have a gradient, and it's going to have a y-intercept. Okay, so you need straight lines in terms of your knowledge around that in order to do linear programming, because linear programming is just a lot of straight lines. That's all it is. Okay, and then you're looking for an area that is highlighted by all the lines as possible answers. Okay, so the equation is always going to be left hand side equals right hand side. If I've got a straight line, you've got y equals mx plus c. The y is important because it's the dependent variable. X is the independent variable. So do you agree? I can choose an x, and if I know what the formula is, I can get the y. Okay, because we substitute in and then you solve to get a answer, to get y. So if I've got y and x, okay, those are 2 points on a specific graph. So I can connect the dots and I'll have a straight line. Okay, that's straight line. Right, with m, this change in y over change in x is a formula. So y2 minus y1, close brackets, divide by open brackets, x2 minus x1. Okay, that's how you would have solved for it back when you did it.
Yeah.
Okay, y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. This y2 and x2, those two,
The same.
well, are the same in terms of being 1 point. Okay, because every point has a x and a y. Okay, because you've got that graph paper. So you've got a Cartesian plane and you can put dots on it.
Yeah.
Because that's representing the map. Okay, so a map will have like longitude and latitude. In maths, you have x and you have y. It's the same thing. Okay, so every point is going to have a specific address. Okay, so if I want the address of a specific point, it's going to be x here and y there. Alright, so that's what the point will actually look like. You'll have an x and you'll have a y. So now, if I'm talking about a y-intercept, what would the value of x be?
0.
Correct. Okay, so you'll have 0 here, and you'll have a y, whatever it is. And if I have an x-intercept, what am I going to have?
It will be whatever x is,
Yes.
and then 0.
Correct, good. So do you agree, if I'm looking for y-intercepts, how do I find y-intercepts? Make
x0.
x0, exactly. Because remember, the equation needs to hold true. So if I'm looking for y, I just need to know what x is.
Okay.
If I'm looking for x, I need to know what y is. And that's what the straight line is in terms of its theory. Okay, so where do I find x-intercepts? Make y equal 0.
Okay.
Okay, so those are basics. Those are basics that relate to the straight line. And then obviously I would use that equation in order to get the straight line or to use it to draw a straight line, depending on what I'm asked to do. Okay, so you've got 2 things to remember here is this, okay, the m. How do I get m? y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. How do I get the equation of a straight line? I need to use y equals mx plus c. Okay, so those are the important bits and pieces to take away from what you've covered before.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I'm looking at a straight line, I need to remember intercepts are important, and I need to remember there's going to be a slope. If m is positive, which way is the graph sloping?
Upwards.
Upwards.
It's obviously going to go up.
Correct. If m is negative,
Then it's going to go down.
it slopes down. And if m is 0,
Then there won't really be a slope.
okay, so if there's no slope, it's flat.
Flat. Yeah.
Straight line.
Yeah.
Okay, if m is undefined,
Then there won't be a.
it'll just be a vertical line. Okay, so you get two different scenarios. Maybe just to draw that. Okay,
So these notes.
I'm going to send them to you.
And then I'll print them and stick them in my theory.
That's
book.
fine. Yeah,
Okay.
no problem. But yeah, so if I draw that, do I have a pen? Yeah, I did. Okay, so if I draw that, m equals positive. Okay, if m is positive, what is the graph going to look like? Graph is going to do what?
Okay.
Correct. M positive. Okay, what happens if m is negative?
The graph's going to go down.
Correct. Okay, so if m is negative, it's going to go down like that. Okay, m minus. If m is 0,
then it's just going to go on that straight line.
it's going to be flat, exactly. Okay, so if m is 0, that means you don't have a slope. It's like the ground is flat. Okay, so then I'm going to have a straight line which is going to be parallel to the x-axis. Okay, like that. Right, and m is 0. Okay, perfectly flat, horizontal. Okay, no gradient, not sloping up, not sloping down, just flat. Okay, so if m is 0, do you agree y for that line is always going to be a specific amount?
Yeah.
Okay, so y will be 2, or y will be 1, or y will be 3. Okay, and then if
But
m is,
if it's 0, shouldn't it be like on this line?
no, it could be anywhere. So it could be here, it could be here. Okay, it's just a flat line. So
okay.
y could equal 4, y could equal 3, or 2, y could equal minus 1. Doesn't matter. Okay, but it will be flat.
Okay.
Okay, so it's sloping
m is
like
the gradient.
that way, because m is the gradient. So if it's positive, it's upwards. If it's negative, it's downwards.
But where it's placed on the graph will matter what y is.
Well, if it was n equals 0, because then if m is 0, do you agree this? What is 0 times x?
0.
Exactly. So 0 times x will give you 0. That means y equals what? The c value. Okay, so in the formula, y is the dependent variable, m is the slope, x is the independent variable, and c is the, we've now defined it, it's the
Intercept.
yes, the y-intercept. Okay, so when you have y equals mx plus c, it's a very specific format for a straight line, where your c represents the y-intercept. Okay, so yeah, if you're making notes, then I would definitely write down the formula y equals mx plus c.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
M, just
M
put a
is-
line. M is the slope. Okay.
or the gradient.
Or the gradient, yeah, it's just two words for the same thing. Under that, let's write the equation. M equals, okay, do a fraction, so
Okay.
draw a line.
Okay, well I'll do it now.
Okay.
So the top
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the gradient. Okay, that's how you get it. See, these are your theory notes that we need.
Yeah. This would go in my theory book.
Correct. And then what else do we need to write?
And then
What is C?
C.
Highlight circle. C is the
The y-intercept.
y-intercept. Okay, and where does the y-intercept occur? We spoke about it. Where x is 0.
Pardon?
Where x is 0. Okay, where does the y-intercept occur? It occurs where x is 0.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Alright, so when you have that equation y equals mx plus c, you'll have certain components that you require in order to draw up a straight line. Okay, that's what you need. So before you do any linear programming, we need to make sure that those basics are okay, because linear programming is a lot of different straight lines. Okay, and then all the lines have a link together because of an inequality, okay, which we'll discuss what that is. Okay. Alright, so okay, that was just a drawing. Let's close that. Okay, so now coming back to this discussion, linear programming. So that's straight line. Okay, next bit is we need to discuss inequalities. Okay, which is actually very similar to what we just spoke about now, which was equations. What is an inequality? Any idea?
It's when you have that little crocodile sign.
Correct. Okay, so you've got less than, okay, you've got greater than, and you've got, okay, that made an arrow. Okay, there we go. And then we've got equal to. Right, you can have less than and equal to, or you can have greater than and equal to. If you do have greater than and equal to, then it would look like this. You would have a line just under this that looks like that.
Yeah.
Okay, if it's less than and equal to, or greater than and equal to. Okay, but we're just looking at inequalities in terms of its theory. Okay, so what is an inequality? I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is what you're going to need, is those crocodile signs. Okay, and remember the crocodile sign it's basically a mouth, so maybe just to show that again. If I have this, okay, and I have 5 and 2, how would you interpret that? If you had to read that statement, what does that statement mean in English?
5 is bigger than 2.
Correct. So if 5 is bigger than 2, remember, there's like teeth there, so the
crocodile's eating the bigger one.
Exactly, always. Okay, that's probably how you were taught it. Okay, that's the best way of teaching this section. Yeah, so you just need to remember that the biggest side is always where the mouth is facing. Exactly. Okay, so great. So you got the basics. It's perfect. Now we need to just look at what does this mean. Well, if I have x greater than 3. Okay, what does that mean?
That x is bigger than 3, the value is bigger than 3.
So what could x be?
It could be 4 up to any number.
Okay, it could even be 3.5.
Or 1.
Or 3.1, do you agree?
Yeah.
So any number bigger than 3, can x be 3?
No.
No, so then you'll have an open circle.
Okay.
Okay, so you remember number lines can be drawn. So let's go back to the...
So if x was 3, wouldn't it be x and then equals 3? The equal sign.
Then you would have this. Okay, I'll show that just now. Let's just show the line. Okay, so do you agree a number line starts where? At 0.
Yeah.
If you go to the left, it gets smaller. So then you'll have -1, -2, and smaller.
Yeah.
On the right, you'll have 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? Okay, so if I'm looking at an inequality, x is greater than 3. If x is greater than 3, that means I'm here. Okay, so if I to draw it, I'm going to show an open circle, and greater than 3 meaning that way. Okay, so that's what I would show if this was a number line. Exactly. Okay, but I'm not going to show it like that because we're drawing a graph. Yes, that's correct. Okay, good. So if you had to do this, then as you said, you would color this in, because now I can have that point, meaning I can have 3 and anything bigger. Okay, is that alright?
Yeah, perfect.
Great. Okay, so that's basics that relate to inequalities, where you've got a range of answers. Okay, so now we need to look at what we've got in your textbook. Let's go to the section where that's where it starts.
Okay.
Right, so I'm going to use just one of these examples just to show you what they actually mean. Okay, so let's start off with basics. Can you solve for the following inequalities? Okay, this is going to tell me how good your equation skills are in terms of solving for x. Okay, so let's see how that goes. What page is this? Page 191.
149.
Oh, sorry, I'm reading it backwards. 149, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to checking your algebra. Okay, so let's see how comfortable you are with solving for x. That's what we need to look at. Okay, so what's the first one? Number 1, 1a.
It's 15 plus 3x.
15 plus 3x
is less than 21.
Less than 21. Fine. Okay, so that's what we've got. Let's see if you'd be able to solve for x. Okay, what is x going to be?
Okay, must I do it on my page?
Separate page.
Okay.
Okay, remember, keep your theory separate from your working. Okay, so you've got almost like a book or a file that has all the theory, and you can relate to it if need be, and then you can always do working separately. Okay, remember, working is just to practice. So it's practicing theory. Like you'll see I've recommended that study in master textbook because it's brilliant. Like the summaries are brilliant. Everything is there. That is the book. That's both. It's both theory and calculations all in one. So that one book basically gives you everything that you need in terms of, even the layout is very good. I'll bring my old copy just to show you what it looks like, but you'll see the newer copies will be better because obviously they've included a few other chapters. Like I see you guys do some money and financial maths and stuff here.
But will that be with Cambridge though?
Yes, it's in your textbook.
What do you mean? No, I'm talking about this other book that you want me to get.
Maths is maths. The basics don't change. Okay, so I'm talking about a straight line. The straight line, as I said, I thought it was something that you would have covered in the first few chapters. Okay, but having asked you, you said no, but you've covered in grade 10 or grade 9 or 8, depending when you did it. But see, those are basics. Now that one book gives you like all of that, like condensed in, I think it's like 300 pages or so. But the nice thing about the textbook is they give you more questions and they give you an answer so you can check if you're doing it correctly. But with these, I need to be very careful when we do them because they don't give you answers. They might, I try to read I see there's a CD attached to the book. Yeah, but they say there's videos on the CD for some of the examples. Okay, so that's what they've mentioned. I don't know if they've given you answers for all the assignments. I can check it later when we take the CD out and actually look at it. Okay, but yeah, I'm not so worried about that. I'll leave it in. Yeah, but I just want to see, do they give you answers for the actual activities? Okay, because it's always good to check that you're on the right track.
Yeah.
And then we need to obviously fill in the blank in terms of how do we get to the answer. Okay. So what is x going to be? How are you going to solve for it? Let's go back to that page. Where's it here? Alright, so your basics seem fine because, as you said, obviously I'm going to take 15 across, so 3x is less than 21 minus 15. Okay, so 3x is less than 6.
Yeah.
Okay, and then x is going to be
2.
Less than 6 divided by 3. Do you agree? And then obviously the answer is 2, correct? Okay, good. So x is less than 2. So what does that mean? Well, that means any number smaller than 2 is a possible answer for x. Exactly. Okay, because an inequality just means a range of answers. That's all it is. It's just a range of answers. You don't have one, you've got many, you've got multiple. Okay, let's try another one. You asked a question about when do you swap the Inequality. Okay, you swap the inequality when you divide by a negative. So let me give you a sum to do. Example. Okay, let's put let's use 4x. Okay, 4x plus 12 is greater than. To make it a negative, let's use 4. That'll work. Okay.
Okay.
Let's change this though to a -4. Okay, because you asked about swapping the sign. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so what would you do if you had to solve for x in that scenario?
So if you divide by a negative number, then you change the sign.
If you divide by a negative number, you change the sign? Correct. Not by a negative number, but by a negative. Okay, that's the key. You've answered the question now. That's good. Okay.
So x is 2.
Okay, let's check. Alright, so the steps would have been, you've got -4x plus 12. If the 12 goes across, you're going to have -4x greater than 4 minus 12. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay. After that, we now need to subtract. So we'll have -4x greater than 4 minus 12 is -8. And then we need to divide by -4. So -4x divided by -4, greater than -8 divided by -4. Okay, so when you do this, when you divide by a negative,
that's when you change the sign.
That's when you swap the sign around. Okay, so that's worth writing down in the theory book or theory pages, because that's something that you could forget about and that creates a problem. Right, so this sign needs to change to less than. So now I'm going to have -4x over 4. -4 is plus x or x. And then this swaps around. And then we had 2 here. Okay, so x must be less than 2.
Yeah.
Okay. That what you had?
Yeah.
X less than 2. Okay, good. Right, so that's the only time you swap that sign around, is when you have amount or a number divided by
2. Well, divided by a negative number.
Divided by negative, correct. Okay, or you could multiply by, divided by negative is probably the best way of looking at it because it's an equation. Okay. Right, so that's the last bit. Okay, so you swap the sign around. Okay, so that's good. Now we need to discuss this whole idea of graphing. Okay, so let's look at, so you're going to have to just draw x and a y. Let's do that here. Okay, so drawing graphs. Okay, I need x and y axis. Okay, so what I'm doing here, you're going to need to do the same thing. Okay, so just draw a straight line.
Okay.
And then
on that theory.
Flat. Yeah, you can do it on the theory, that's fine. We'll cover theory first, then we'll look at examples just now. That's straight. Looks like it, yeah. Okay. go. Right, so there's a few things that we need to put on this graph, but we're practicing drawing graphs. So I'm going to do one graph, which is a straight line, okay, and then we'll change it from straight line to inequality, just to show you what it means. Okay, now split that in half, and then you've got some x and y.
Okay.
Okay, so let's start with some basics. What is this point called? This point over here.
That's your x and y intercept.
No, the middle here, this point.
I don't know.
The origin.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the point here has the values of x is 0 and y is 0. Okay, so the origin is a very easy point to draw or to plot because both x and y are 0. Okay, and that's an important point because with linear programming, you need to test points to the left or you need to test points to the right because then you need to know which side does the answers or do the answers actually lie. Okay, that's what you're checking. Okay, so let's draw a diagram, okay, a straight line. Let's start with y equals x plus 2. Okay, how would you draw that?
I don't know.
You need 2 points. Remember, a straight line is 2 points, join the dots. Okay, so what 2 points am I going to draw? Well, remember this is x and y, Cartesian plane. Do you agree? If I know what x is, so let's say x is 2. If I know x is 2, can I find y?
No.
Yes. Y equals x plus 2. So if I know what x is, can I get y?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, because do you agree? The equation y equals x plus 2 gives me y if I put in x. Okay, so what is x here? I just chose a random point. Remember, any point on the line will have the same, how can I say, it will be lying in the same line. Okay, because once I've drawn the straight line, any point on the line will always be correct because this equation must hold true. Okay, so if x is 2, what am I going to do? Substitute. Okay, so y equals 2 plus 2. What is 2 plus 2? 4. So now, where would that point be? 2 and 4. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, so if I draw that point, where's 2? There's 2. Where's 4? There's 4.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
so whatever 4. So x is whatever that
x
number.
could be whatever you wanted.
Oh, okay.
X isn't this number here. I could have put in any number. Okay, because I want to draw a straight line.
Oh, okay.
So I want one point, which is there, and I want another point. Okay, so again, let's randomly choose a number. I want a number on this side. So what number is on this side? Let's choose minus 2. Okay, minus 2. Right, so what is that? That's x's value.
Yeah.
So now, remember, it's a map. Okay, so if I know what the x is, then I can find the y. So if I know what x is, if x is minus 2, what am I going to get for y? Let's substitute.
2.
Y equals minus 2 plus 2, which is 0. So what does that mean? That means that this is the point for what? For x minus 2 and 0. So we've actually found the x-intercept. Do you agree? Okay, let's find another point, just randomly. If I had to choose another point, remember I want the y-intercept. How would I find the y-intercept?
by making x 0.
Correct. So make x 0. So if I make x 0, I'll have y equals 0 plus 2, which is 2. Right, so what do I know? Well, earlier we spoke about this. Y equals mx plus c.
Yeah.
So if you know what this is, okay, you know what the y-intercept is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so where is the y-intercept going to be? Well, I can join it, it'll be there.
Yeah.
2. Okay, there's the other point. Okay, now what do I do? What can I do? Join a straight line, so what must I do?
You just
Join the dots, exactly. Okay, so if I join the dots, okay, I'm going to get a straight line, right?
Yeah.
And that's the straight line that I'm going to have to draw for this equation.
Yeah.
Okay, that dot, let's move it. Okay. Right, okay, that's sort of joining the dots. Okay,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I get it.
Okay, so you join the dots and then you get a straight line. Okay, so do you agree y equals x plus 2 is that? That's what it is. Okay, but now how do we change this? Well, I can change this by looking at an inequality. So that straight line, that you would have drawn it. That should be sort of like revision, kind of. Okay, you would have done that before. Okay, so does this change in any way when I have an inequality? Well, the question is yes, because what did we say earlier? An inequality is a range of answers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's change it to an inequality. Y greater than x plus 2. Right, so that's what we've got. This is now an inequality, not an equation. When it's an equation, you're going to have a very specific answer, and you can only have one answer for every x. Here, I can have x, but I can have a range of answers for y. Does that make sense? Okay. So now, how do we approach it if it's an inequality? Well, you need to test. So do you agree this is the straight line for y equals x plus 2?
Yeah.
Okay. So now what I do is I either take a point on this side, okay, or a point on that side. Okay, depending on the graph that you have. Okay, so which point did we say is the easiest point to test? The origin.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you agree the origin is the easiest point to test? Because they're both 0. So if I put 0 in here, and I put 0 in there, okay, greater than plus 2. Okay, what is 0 plus 2?
2.
Okay, so is that statement true? Can 0 be bigger than 2?
No.
No. So this statement is
False.
false.
So it won't be there.
It won't be on this side of the line.
Yeah.
It'll be on that side. But let's choose a point. So I'm just going to randomly choose a point. Let's choose the point. Let's choose that point. Okay. What's the value of that point?
4.
0 and
4.
4. Okay, so let's substitute 0, 4 into the equation.
Okay.
If I put 0, 4 into the equation, y is greater than, okay, let's write it down here. Y is greater than 0 plus 2. Let me do this first. Okay, x. So y is greater than x plus 2. So if I know what x is, which is what here? 0. And what did we say y is? 4. Okay, greater than plus 2. What's 0 plus 2?
2.
2. So that'll be 4 greater than 2. Is 4 greater than 2?
Yeah, so that's it.
That's true.
So it could be that one.
Alright, so therefore, if I'm looking at the answers must lie on which side of the graph? The left or the right?
The left.
The left. So the answers can be on any side, on that side of the line. Okay, then we draw like a little arrow, or if you wanted to, you could actually shade it in. Okay, you could shade in, and then they call it the feasible region. Okay, let's just show you one example here. Yeah, there's shading, 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 shading. Okay, they're showing you where you could have answers. Okay, the shaded region is what you have that in terms of answers that you could possibly have.
Okay.
Okay, so any point on the left of this line would be
your shaded region.
Would be the shaded region because that'll be accurate.
Possible answers.
Okay, right, and that's
so
linear
how did
programming.
you determine that it was on the left side?
I had to test the point.
Okay.
So the
point was?
The point that I tested was this point. I tested that point.
Okay.
Okay, and there's the test. Okay, and then on the right, what point did I test?
How did that determine that it goes on the left?
Because it's true or false. See, because when I tested that point,
yeah, but because
it was false.
Yeah. So what side would it have gone on if this was true?
If that was true, then it would have gone on the right hand side.
So how do you know it must go on the left hand side if it's positive?
If it must be true, so your answers must be correct. So for example, if I substitute this point in,
yeah.
Okay, which I did, does that statement hold true? Is 4 bigger than 2?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's why the answers must be on that side.
Okay, yeah.
Because it's true. Because of the line. Okay, but we'll do more examples. Okay, but that's the theory. And that's it. So linear programming is just about knowing how to draw graphs and knowing how to test graphs. Because you're testing the points on the left or the right. And that's it. Okay, so that wraps up the theory. Now we need to practice.